معكم لليونت السابع الجزء الثاني الفيديو الثاني إن شاء الله نكمل باليونت 7 إذا الله راد. وصلنا إلى رقم 4. Read the notes about the two famous people. These facts about each person are incorrect. Can you guess which one? Use the internet to find and correct mistakes, underline keywords or phrases to search for. So we have Maria Carey and we have Zainuddin Zidane. Most of you have heard about these two famous people. There is some mistakes in these, or there is misleading information which is incorrect. So we need to go to the internet and search for the correct information. We have done this, and then I will correct the false information mentioned in these two abstracts about, or bibliography about, these two famous people. So let's see. Now, the first one, Maria Carey, she was born in Poland, not in France. Okay, and she got Nobel Prize for physics, and she got Nobel Prize for physics in 1903 and 1903. They say two Nobel Prizes. So 1903, no, Nobel Prize, not for peace, no, Nobel Prize in 1903 for physics, and in 1911 won the Nobel Prize for chemistry. That's 1911. She won another Nobel Prize for physics. So that's some of the mistakes mentioned in this abstract or bibliography or Maria Carey. So don't believe anything you read on the internet. You need to check from multiple sources. Also, Zainuddin Zidane, he was born in 1975. No, he was born in 1972, and he was born in Marseille, not in Paris, as you can see here. Of course, he's one of the best footballers in the world. He scored 2 goals in 1988 World Cup not versus Argentina, no, it's versus Brazil. That's the false information in these two articles. Another famous athlete, which is Roger Federer. Maybe most of you have heard about it, Roger Federer. Let's see what we have here. Read the bibliography of Roger Federer. Answer the questions: when and where he was born, when did he win the first Grand Slam title, which three competitions did he win in 2004, which has also won 4 Wimbledon finals in a row, what is the name of Federer's special project. So you need to go through this and read it carefully, or skim it very quickly, so you can answer these questions. Anyway, I'm gonna answer these questions with you. So the first question, when and where he was born. This is very easy. I think Roger Federer, he was born in Basel in Switzerland in 1981. So the answer is easy: Basel, Switzerland in 1981. Number 2, when did he win the first Grand Slam? If you can see, it was in 2003 that he really began to show just how good he started it by winning 2 tournaments in a row. Okay, so in 2003, and he also won his first Grand Slam title at Wimbledon Championship. So in 2003, the answer for second question. 3, which 3 competition did he won in 2004? So he won 3 competitions. Okay, he won 3 out of the 4 Grand Slam titles, which is the Australian Open, Wimbledon, and the US Open. Number 4, who has also, of course, another famous athlete who won 4 titles, which is, and also one of 3 Wimbledon record. In 2000, he equaled Pete Sampras' record of winning Wimbledon 4 times in a row. So he tied with Pete Sampras. And many of you maybe who likes tennis know Roger Federer, Pete Sampras, and Djokovic, and of Maria Sharapova, and all of these famous tennis athletes. Finally, number 5, what is the name of Federer's special project? What they call it? The Roger Federer Foundation. That's the answer for question 5. Here we have some, as you can see here, there is a few blank spaces that we need to fill some extra information. Okay, and he gave us some extra information. We need to input this information in these blanks. The study skill here, we have adding extra information. Sometimes you need to add extra information to your writing. How to add this extra information? One way of adding extra information is to use a non-defining relatives clause. Is to use a non-defining relative clause. What is that meaning? Let's check these sentences. They all give the same information, but they are grammatically somehow different. Check this one. Roger Federer is a very famous tennis player. هو لاعب مشهور جدا. نقطة. He was born in Basel. وكذلك هو ولد في بازل. We can change this and add more clauses. The clause is less than a sentence, like it's a few words, but it's not a complete sentence. Okay? Roger Federer, we can say, by using another grammar construction or structure, we can say Roger Federer, or they are both, nouns. We need to make them in capital letter, comma, who, it's a pronoun for Roger Federer, who was born in Basel, is a very famous tennis player. And then Roger Federer, comma, who was born in Basel, comma, is very famous tennis player. Also, I can say Roger Federer, who was a famous tennis player, I can say, comma, was born in Basel. So, use commas and relative pronouns. Use commas. إذن القاعدة هنا استخدم الكوما and relative pronouns. pronoun العلم اللي يعود على الضمير اللي يعود على أسماء العلم. طبعا حسب الأشخاص والأشياء وإلى آخره. نستخدم who for people and which for things and animals and where for places. So I can say, for example, Basel is a city in Switzerland. Roger Federer was born there. You see, this first sentence is not like, it's very, it's كلش جافة. Basel is a city in Switzerland. نقطة. Roger Federer was born there. الأفضل إنه ندمجهم سوا بجملة واحدة ونخلي فد كوما حتى تكون الجملة أكثر، خلينا نقول عليها أكثر شمولية أو تتوصل الفكرة أكثر. We can say Basel, comma, where Roger Federer was born. قلنا Basel، قلنا للأشياء والأماكن، للأماكن قلنا نستخدم where. So Basel, where Roger Federer was born, comma, is a city in Switzerland. So this is the study skill we have here. Now let's go back and solve this question. This is the extra information. Where can we put this extra information? We need to look carefully about, and we need to read it carefully, and then we can use these sentences and these blanks from 1 to 5. So let's do it together. Roger Federer is probably the best and the most famous tennis player in the world today. He was born in Basel in Switzerland in 1981. His parents encouraged him to start playing tennis when he was 8 years old. So his parents, الجملة اللي ترهم وياها, who met when Roger's father was in South Africa on business. Okay, so his parents who met when Roger's father was in South Africa in business. So this is هاي الجملة راح تشتغل ويا number 1. He won his first Wimbledon junior. His Wimbledon, and when he was 8, he won his first Wimbledon title, the Wimbledon junior, at the age of 16. Over the next few years, he played all over the world, including in Australia. شو نخلي بعد هنا؟ نقول in Australia, شنو الجملة اللي ترهم من هاي ال additional information؟ where Australia يجي وها pronoun يدل على المكان، إذا أنا أستخدم where he represented Switzerland in the 2000 Olympic Games, thus here in 2. However, it was the year 2003 that he really began to show just how good he was. He started the year by winning 2 tournaments in a row, Dubai and Marseille. He also won his first Grand Slam title at Wimbledon Championship. In 2004, he won 3 out of 4 Grand Slam titles in the Australian Open, Wimbledon and the US Open. In 2006, he equaled Pete Sampras' record, winning Wimbledon 4 times in a row. However, he is still one championship behind Bjorn Borg. Number 3, what we can insert here من هذا ده يحكي على Bjorn Borg, and then we have a person who, when we find who won 5 consecutive finals at Wimbledon. إذن هو عادل رقم سامبراس بس ما قدر يعادل رقم بيون بورغ اللي فاز ب5 بطولات ويمبلدون. إذن number 3 نحط who لأن عندنا شخص who won 5 consecutive finals at Wimbledon. When he is not playing tennis, Federer is busy with his special project, the Roger Federer Foundation. Number 4, what we can insert here. شو يسوي هذا الفاونديشن؟ شو تسوي؟ foundation تحكي على أشياء شو راد لها؟ which, and we need which for things and animals. So which helps disadvantaged children اللي يساعد الأطفال المحتاجين. He is also a goodwill ambassador to UNICEF, who also helps poor children around the world. And now we are done, and we have the extra information in these blank spaces about Roger Federer. We have some exercise here, short exercise. Join the 2 sentences using a relative clause with who, which, or where. Okay, we need to add these pronouns to the sentences so we can join them together. We can start with the first one. As you can see, he make them 2 sentences, but we need to make them into 1 sentence using commas and using the relative pronouns. So Arthur Conan Doyle was a Scottish doctor. So we need to omit this dot and we can say Arthur Conan Doyle, comma, who was a Scottish doctor, wrote the Sherlock Holmes stories. So the answer for this question, we can say Arthur Conan Doyle, who was a Scottish doctor, comma, wrote the Sherlock Holmes stories. Number 2, the film Ahmed is about life of Mozart. It won 8 Oscars. So we need to rewrite this sentences into 1 sentence using commas and relative pronouns. So we can say the film Amadeus, comma, which is about the life of Mozart, comma, won 8 Oscars. So the film Amadeus, comma, which هذا thing and نحط له which is about the life of Mozart, comma, won 8 Oscars. Number 3, Stratford upon Avon is a beautiful title. It's a beautiful, little town. Shakespeare was born there. So we need to rewrite these 2 sentences into 1 using commas and relative pronouns. So Stratford upon Avon, comma, this is a place where we live, so we need to use where Shakespeare was born, comma, is a beautiful little town. So Stratford upon Avon, comma, where Shakespeare was born, comma, is a beautiful little town. Now we have another exercise. It's about study skill. It's about organizing ideas. Always consider carefully the most appropriate way to organize the information in your writing. When writing a bibliography, for example, it's usual to follow a chronological order, that is a time order. We have talked about this. When you write a bibliography about yourself or about Nelson Mandela that we have here, which is the most famous politician in the world. Okay, you need to write it chronologically, which is time order, where he, like when he, which year he was born, when he was born, the place, all the stuff, his history, his youth, and then his retirement, and then his death. So this is his now. This is another exercise that we need to do. We need to use in lesson 5. Use the information from exercise. We need number 4. Put the bibliographical information about Nelson Mandela into chronological order. He just asking you to organize these sentences into chronological order, which is like in time order. So we can, and it's easy. You will talk about his born, about his life, about his present, about, and then about his death. Writing from research. Or 5. Use the information from research to write a short bibliography of Nelson Mandela, approximately 100 words. Use relative pronouns. I can give you the answer for this one very quickly, and you can do this by yourself, of course. And I will decide later if I want to make it a homework or not. So I'm gonna tell you a short bibliography of Nelson Mandela from this information that we have already on this, as you can see on the screen. So Nelson Mandela, where he born? He born in South Africa in 1981, and he became the most famous statesman in the world. Actively involved in African National Congress, okay, and fight against apartheid, the separation, which is the separation of black and white people. That's what we call with apartheid, which is what we mean by apartheid, which is the separation of black and white people. Then was released from prison after 27 years in 1990, and he won the Nobel Peace Prize, which is starts for the president, which shared with President de Klerk. Thus, a short bibliography about Nelson Mandela. And that will end the second part of Unit 7. Thank you. I will see you soon with the Unit 7 Part 3. Thanks a lot.